Learn from an attorney why it seems like schools won't help out when it comes to their students being bullied, at least in the way that you think they should, and then learn what you, as a parent or kid, can do about it. Kids, get your parents. They need to see this. Hi, I'm Stacey Storino, an attorney since 1998, certified life coach since 2015, and the leader in legal coaching that turns people into effective advocates for themselves and their loved ones when they're bullied, special needs, or both. Woman 101 stands for wisdom that turns victims into victors. Now let's get down to why schools, really school officials, don't seem to be as helpful as you think they should be when someone is bullied on school grounds. Stay tuned until the end of the video so that you can learn about a method to stop bullies after all else fails. Yup, there is a method. Brace yourselves, because what I'm about to tell you might upset you, confuse you, or both. But no worries, you can go back and re-watch this video as many times as you need to so that you can understand just how convoluted or complicated this whole scene really is. I'm a lawyer, and it even took me a little bit to understand it all, so go easy on yourself. Remember though, knowledge is the key to power. Once you understand how the school system works in terms of its responsibilities towards keeping its charges, its students safe, you'll know where you can focus your attentions when you or your loved ones are the victims of bullying, and where not to waste your time. You might feel like the schools have to bend over backwards to keep their students safe, but not really. Well, it's a little complicated. Where to begin? Well, public school districts are actually state entities. They receive state funding and as a result behave a lot like the states themselves do. Schools are often given the same legal standards to follow like states do. And you say, so what if they are? What does that have to do with anything? Well, the standard across the United States, which is still good law today, was laid out in a legal case called Morse versus Lower Merion School District in 1997, which says, quote, "The general rule is that the state has no affirmative obligation to protect its citizens from violent acts of private individuals," unquote. Now let's cue the horrified reactions from the parents and children alike. What? I hear you, but wait, there's more. There is an exception to this rule for the states in general and the public schools that are extensions of the states in which they sit. That exception is if a special relationship is created by the school district between themselves and the students, or state citizens, if you will, then the state school district is responsible to protect that citizen or student. This is a very high bar, to be fair. People do successfully sue the school districts and win. Lots of people, however, sue school districts and fail if they can't prove that the school district created a special relationship between the district and the student. It's next to impossible to be successful in a lawsuit against them, which is why many school administrators may be turning a blind eye to you when you complain about you or a loved one being bullied. Not all school administrators are largely hands-off about this stuff, but some of them are. Why? Because they appreciate that the bar to successfully reach or successfully sue the district is very, very high. Now, you may say, well, in every state, attendance in school is compulsory or mandatory for children up to a certain age. So doesn't that count towards creating a special relationship? But the courts have said that this fact alone isn't enough to give rise to that special relationship. What does? Oh, there are definitely situations that can. Let me give you an example. In one case, there was a school that had a rotunda in it, and kids tended to hang out there. Of course, that's where kids would often be bullied too. So the school put up postings that communicated that there were cameras watching that area. One day, a child was bullied and beaten so bad that he was left in a coma. When it came to the cameras, the good news was that, yes, they existed. The bad news? There was no tapes, so no recordings of the attack. The court in that case said this was one of the few situations where the school district created a special relationship between itself and this particular student, who had read those postings and could have been led to believe that because the cameras were there, well, he thought he was safer in the rotunda, but at the end of the day was not. The postings increased the danger to that student because he thought he was safer as the result of the school's affirmative act, but was not. So, you or your loved one who has been the subject of bullying can certainly show that the victim should be free from the abuse of their bodily integrity at school, but you or a lawyer on the victim's behalf must prove that the school was affirmatively involved in increasing the danger to that student, or they will not be found liable or responsible in a court of law. Before you freak out, let me just say this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Depending upon your unique facts and circumstances, that very high bar can still be met. A case that came out in 1999 called Davis versus Monroe County Board of Education set up what's now referred to in the courts as the Davis test, which is that state funding recipients, like a public school district, can be held liable in damages only when they are deliberately indifferent to student-on-student harassment, of which they have actual knowledge, that is so severe and pervasive and objectively offensive that it can be said to deprive the victims of access to the educational opportunities or benefits provided to the school. Now, you as a layperson might be feeling a little overwhelmed, but no worries. We're going to break down every single prong of the Davis test in other videos so that you can see how you can make it work for you or your loved ones. Because if you don't have your act together, before you sit down with a school official about the subject of you or a loved one being bullied, well, they could blow you off or double talk you, and I don't want that to happen, and neither do you. So, subscribe to this channel and be sure to keep coming back for more videos that will be put in the Enemy Remedy playlist. By the time you're done watching those episodes, you'll get the picture. Knowledge really is power. Gaining a support system that exists on the school campus and off of it can keep a bullied kid safer. And when all else fails, it's time to call in the cavalry, meaning having at least one adult who can serve as your advocate with the school system and, if need be, the police and the court system. You can't ignore bullying. It won't go away. Every study and survey shows that avoidance has no upside when it comes to bullying. And I've got a system called the Enemy Remedy that can help you or the ones who love you out big time. So make sure you check out the link down below in this video's show notes for more details. I would love to hear from you. Have you ever had a disappointing encounter with a school official over bullying incidents? Share down below and let's have all of the Woman 101 Wise Owls love up on you and give you support. Remember, Woman 101 stands for wisdom, turning victims into victors. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video and share this with anyone you know who could use some support. Woman 101, be wise with your heart.